Hi, this is Trinesha Cottrell, and today I wanted to talk about insecure. So this is not going to be like a regular video. It's probably going to be like a rant, and it probably won't go up because I just had a moment earlier today, and the reason why it's called insecure is just because I've been really feeling like, I feel secure in God and knowing that God is who He says He is. But when it comes to decisions that I have to make, when it comes to other people in the world, I just don't feel secure. I feel like God gave me every opportunity to make another decision in my life with a bunch of different opportunities that He's given me. And if I'm being real, I felt insecure about it. I felt like undeserving. I felt like I didn't deserve to be with that person at this place or in this position because I always remember the things from the past or, the relationships that didn't work out or the things that were really making me feel like I didn't deserve better, you know? And although now I know what my worth is, I still have that nagging thought in the back of my head sometimes. I still have that feeling, especially when things don't work out the way that I thought that they would, and I got some information earlier today just about, a person. It wasn't anything big. It was just someone explaining to me like what was going on and things like that in my life. And as we were talking about different things, they were saying, well, why would God want you to not be with the person who you're supposed to be with or who you want to be with or who you like or whatever else? And the way that you've been acting is as if you aren't interested at all. And I never wanted to come off as if I was disinterested. I just was afraid of being hurt. And the moment that I was feeling healed, the moment that I felt like, and I got a real yes from God, he like gave me a yes a few weeks ago, and he was just like, I think now is the time. And I kind of was like taken aback because I remember God constantly telling me to wait, and I was like, okay, I'm waiting because I want to be obedient. So why would he tell me to go now? And it wasn't that I was doubting God, I was doubting myself. I felt so insecure and trusting myself in every area of my life, that I didn't take the opportunity that God gave me. And when I didn't take it, I was just like, oh, it'll be plenty of other opportunities. And I know a lot of people will be like, there'll always be other opportunities. Yes, they will. There will always be another opportunity for something else, you know, not not the same thing, you know? And I'm about to start crying already. I just I feel like every time I get to a moment where okay, it's about to start happening. Pull out two Q-tips for this one. Every time I get to a moment where I feel like I want to be hopeful or I feel like there's a chance, for me to experience something different, then it seems like every time the opportunity is taken away. Or when I want to feel a little bit hopeful, then, that opportunity is not there anymore. Every single time. And I had finally gotten to a place where I felt healed. I finally got to a place where I felt like I was ready. And the moment I was going to say something, it's like I couldn't say anything. The moment because it just wasn't a chance. The next moment I was like, okay, today is the day I'm going to say whatever. I'm going to do all these things in my life, and when I get my mind focused on it, I'm ready for it. It's like opportunities no longer there for the person, place, or thing. And it's almost like this cruel joke that the adversary plays on me, like, oh, you think you're going to be vulnerable? Ha. You think you're going to get a chance like this? Ha. You think that this person would really treat you the right way? Ha. It's like every time I get to a place where I feel like I'm willing to open up or I'm willing to take a chance, then something happens, and it makes me feel like, what's the point of going for it? You know, and it makes me feel like, okay, I was right at the point where I wanted to be a little bit vulnerable, and now it's like you can't be vulnerable, like every moment I get to a place where I feel like I want to be vulnerable, where I can be vulnerable, where I want to open up, then every single time it's like the adversary just pushes in my face something else to make me feel like I need to pull back, like I need to be closed off, like I can't allow people in. And hold on, before I get real teary eyed and start crying and everything else, because we know how this goes. And like I said, this probably won't go up. So I'm just talking in general, because if God places it on my heart to put it on there, then I will. But if not, then it'll just be something I go to kind of reflect on where I am today. And so I just wanted to show you this. This shirt ties, but I like to be different. So I'm not just wearing a regular, tank or whatever. I did this to the back of it. I crisscrossed and tied it like that. So it would be completely different than anybody else's. Like if someone else wore this shirt, it wouldn't be worn the same way. You know what I'm saying? So I like to do stuff like that. And I don't know why it always bunches up. It always like does this. And then when I watch the video, like, or if God puts on my heart for me to watch it, I'm like, why is it like all scrunchy right there? And it's scrunchy just because, I'm sitting down and it's a fold right here. It's not because, see, like there's nothing there. It's just, that's just the jeans. I don't know why I always feel like I have to explain that, but okay. But yeah, I just, God gave me a chance to say something a few days ago. And in my head, I just didn't want to be disrespectful. I wanted to make sure that I was being a woman of God. I wanted to make sure that I was being Christ like. I didn't want to just act like anything, and, be out here. I really wanted to present myself in the best way. And in my heart, I really just wanted to say all of these other things. I wanted to say what I was thinking. I wanted to be real with myself. And I couldn't bring myself to be real because I felt like it was too late, you know? And I was talking to one of my friends and they said, you keep on trying to just make everything perfect or like do exactly the right thing. And it's nothing wrong with being a better version of yourself or doing the right thing. But they're like, you spend so much time doing the right thing that you don't allow yourself the chance to fail. And you have to be able to fail to keep going. And I say it in the videos all the time. It really sucks when one of your friends or somebody else says the advice that you give other people, and I follow my own advice, but sometimes life happens and then I initially make a different decision or a different choice. It's like every time that happens, I'm like, I know this already. Like, really? Like, I didn't take a chance just because. I did not take it because I couldn't attempt to do something. I did not take it because I didn't want to say anything. I didn't take it just because I did nothing. I didn't do something good or bad. I didn't even give myself the opportunity to fail or succeed in this instance. And it literally weighed heavy on me yesterday because the things that I wanted to say that I didn't get to say, I don't know if I will say it in this video, because if God has me put it up, then it'll just be by some opportune chance the person will click on this one video out of all the videos, and then they'll be like, oh, this is about me. It's probably about you. But no, let me stop saying that, because someone else will probably be like, oh my gosh, is this how she feels about, what I said that one time? And I'll be like, no, it's not about that. Like, I'm talking about something totally different. We're on two different pages. Like, I don't think you know what I'm talking about right now, but I've been feeling like a little down since yesterday because I didn't do anything. Because I didn't say the things that were on my heart. I didn't say anything at all. I just froze. And I said a one word or two word response to something that mattered a lot to me. And people can't read your mind. They don't know when you really truly do care about something or not. They can't tell if you care about them if you pretend like you don't care. Nobody can read your mind. And so while I'm sitting there, like, just really acting like someone can just assume, that, I care about them, or assume that I feel a certain type of way, or I want a position, or whatever else. Nobody knows that unless you go for it, unless you really are intentional, unless you're saying the things that you want. And I'm not saying you should be rude and disrespectful to anyone. I'm just saying that when God gives you an opportunity to do something, it's for you to do something. It's not for you to just sit around and be like, well, I didn't do anything, didn't do the wrong thing. God's like, that's not what I asked you. I asked you to go. I will be there with you every step of the way. You don't have to worry about what will or won't work out, whatever way it will or won't work out. The only thing you have to do is just do the best that you can. Be honest with yourself. Be honest with yourself. Stop lying to yourself and saying that you don't care about things that really do matter to you. Because before you know it, it'll be too late. Life is meant to be lived. It's not meant to just you to just sit on the sidelines and watch other people live and watch other people take shots and opportunities and be willing to make mistakes and fail in certain areas so that they can become more successful because people always say nothing amazing happens in the comfort zone because it's true. You can't grow, you can't expand, you can't evolve, you can't do all of the things that God. Sorry, I think I got Q-tip in my eye. I knew that would happen one day because I'm real clumsy. But you can't expect to grow and be better if you are just sitting on the sidelines watching other people live their life while you're not even living. I literally have been so afraid to make any personal decisions in my life that I've been watching other people live their life. And I've just been focused on business, business as usual. I've been so focused on just spending time with God, and God is saying, I want you to spend time with me, but I still want you to be happy. I still want you to live your life. And sometimes we forget that. We feel like we just need to only do one thing. And even one day I was like, all God all day. And God's like, look, I appreciate you being intentional, but the real test is when you're doing things without me sometimes. If I can trust you enough to make the right decision when I'm not there holding your hand every step of the way, then I know that you move to another level. And it's scary because I I truly feel like I can't trust myself. I have made so many bad decisions in my life. I just don't know how to make a good decision, a good personal decision. I've chosen, all these horrible guys, I just can't, I don't even know what choosing a good guy looks like, you know? I have messed up so badly in the past, just trying to do things my own way and make my own rules and just, YOLO. You only live once. Yeah, I only live once, but I don't want to keep making the same dumb mistake over and over again just because I have that cliche to fall back on. You know what I'm saying? I really, really want this thing so badly. And sometimes I feel like I want it too badly. I don't know what I need to do now to get it. I don't know how, you know. Sorry about all the tears and stuff. I just think it's important to be real with yourself. I think that sometimes we forget that we need to be real with ourselves. And I've been learning that a lot lately. God has been really getting on me like, listen, you keep lying to yourself and saying that you don't want this person, place, or thing. You keep lying to yourself saying that you're going to be okay, that you're just going to keep doing this. You can keep doing this, but there's some things that I need you to do that you're going to have to do other things as well. Like, and this is so weird because I didn't expect God to say, reading in the Bible and spending time with Him is not just your whole life. And I heard one pastor say it before and I really didn't understand it then. But through this fast, I understand it now. You can't just only do that because how are you adding to the world if all you're doing is like I literally was going to church, going to Bible study, reading my Bible, and listening to sermons all day or gospel music all day long. And I might listen to an audiobook or read. That's it. I didn't like me and my friends might have went somewhere, but I'd have gospel music playing the whole time. And then we get in the store and we kind of talk a little bit, or we go to eat and talk a little bit. But I haven't done that in a while. I haven't had a me date in probably 6 months or so. And usually I would schedule those every single month. I've just been so focused on just being in God's presence because I'm so afraid of making a mistake that I haven't really actually been living my life. It's really hard, you know, to really step out and do something like that. Like when it comes to business, I'm like, okay, I'll take a chance because I'm trying here. But when it comes to personal stuff, and I think about the pain that I had to go through in the past, I can't imagine getting hurt like that again. But I know that if I don't put myself out there, I'll absolutely never get hurt again, but I'll never fall in love again ever again either. I'll never, and that wasn't real love. That was like lust. And I guess I'm sorry I have to be so quaint and like so, whatever with that. But it really was more like because, I wanted him physically. I wanted little specific commonalities. It wasn't because the person's core was good and, we fed each other's soul or anything like that. It literally was just all like we were physically attracted to each other. That's it. It had no depth. It wasn't like we were having like deep conversations about anything intellectual at all. It was like I was always wanting to read and like learn more stuff, but the other person was just good, just not knowing anything, not really willing to grow or learn or become better or anything. So I don't know if I could actually say I've ever been in love. you know, but you have to be willing to just be yourself. You have to be willing to be in living in the world, not of the world, but in the world. You know, I have to really be willing, and God is telling me this, and I'm just like, but I'm so comfortable here, and I want to be uncomfortable because I want to grow. But every time I think about being out there, I just think about getting hurt again. I think about my soul being ripped out of my body and sliced into tiny pieces and then rolled over with the cement truck. You know, I think of, someone just completely only thinking about themselves and pretending as if they're giving me my way and then manipulating the situation so it still turns out in their benefit, you know? So I guess it's time to step into the world. I guess it's time to and be this new version of me with a little bit of the old self, because without the old me, I wouldn't be who I am today. I guess it's time for me to take a chance in life. So I'm actually living, you know? I don't know like what's going to happen tomorrow, but I know God got me. And even if I have to get my heart broken another time, but what's the alternative? You know? And I trust that no matter what happens in my life, God got me. So, in conclusion, you have to be real about the areas in your life where you feel insecure. And when I say insecure, I hope you don't think I mean it derogatively. I hope you understand that I mean that in a you may be secure in the Lord, but there might be some areas in your life that you struggle in, and that is an insecurity. I'm not saying that you're not beautiful. I'm not saying that you're not smart. I'm not saying that you aren't intelligent, beautifully and wonderfully made, that you're not created worthy, that you're not everything God created you to be. You know, I'm not saying those things at all. Insecurity does not mean that you lack something. That means that don't have you don't have hope in that area. Or I don't want to say hope. That means that it's not an area that you feel secure in. It's not an area that you feel content in. It's something that makes you uneasy. That's the word I was looking for. And sometimes you will feel uneasy in life. Sometimes things won't work out the way that you want them to. But I know that I'm going to stay focused on God. And if God is saying I need to step out on faith, then that's exactly what I'm going to do. And I can't just keep on asking God, do I need to walk right or left? I need to just walk and then listen for God's voice so that He can guide me the rest of the way, because that would just be God living my life for me. It wouldn't be me living my life for God, you know? And I think it's really important for us to sit down and take a moment and think about what you're really doing in your life. What is it that you really want? What really makes you happy? What brings you joy? Like God brings me joy, but what makes you happy? What are the things that you could do that would really just add to you, that would really pour into you? And not just like oh, I'm just doing this one thing for myself. And yes, you could do something for 5 minutes a day, just some alone time with yourself, just appreciate who you are. But I mean, sometimes you need a whole day. Like I usually do a me day. And my me day was supposed to be last weekend, and I didn't do anything with myself. I haven't had a me date in a really long time. And I didn't even realize I missed it until somebody asked me when I was going on a me date. And I was like, oh my gosh, it's been 6 months. 6 months since the last time I did a me date, that I really prioritized myself, because I was so focused on the things that were going on in my life and trying to add things where I was missing something else, and just trying to be super obedient. I didn't even realize that I was neglecting that part of my life. I just want to do good. I want to serve. I want to make the most of my life. And that doesn't mean just having God live my life for me. That means I need to be intentional in every area. When I get scared, I can't just pull away. I have to go into it. I have to step into it in faith. And I don't mean you got a bunch of red flags and you just be with somebody because you want to. I mean, whenever you're living your life, you have the best of intentions and you do the best that you can. And you trust in God to give you the power of discernment, whether it's good or bad, but you have to give people a chance. You can't just write them off and say they don't want you, or say they don't want all of these things in their life when you don't even know them. You can't just put that type of thinking on somebody else just because you feel insecure in one area or another. You have to start believing in yourself and trusting yourself. I know it's hard because you disappointed yourself so much. I know it's hard because you made a lot of the wrong choices, but there comes a time where you're going to have to start stepping into life. You're going to have to start living your life. Nobody else can do that for you. You have to do it. And you're going to have to do it by focusing on God and not expecting God to live your life for you. I know it's comfortable. I know it really is. It feels so good in God's arms to seek his face every day. It feels so good knowing that, I'm not going to make a wrong step. It feels so good knowing that I won't mess up, that I'm going to do all these things the right way. But in trying to be so perfect, I've messed up things that God had already set forth for me. I want to be a better person. I want to do better. But that doesn't mean I have to be perfect. I just have to be willing to improve and be the best that I can be and live my life. God is not like looking down on me saying, "Oh, you're living your life." That's wrong. Like he's not saying neglect him at all, but my whole day doesn't need to be all God all day. And I know it's weird for somebody Christian to say that, but God doesn't expect you to just never do anything. You know, I'm not saying you go out and do all the wrong things just because I said that. I'm saying that you have to live your life to the best of your ability. Spend some time with God, spend some time in prayer, read your word every day. Just sit and listen and spend time with God, build that relationship with God. And maybe you do something for yourself. Do something that's fun that just it's no point to it. You just do it just to do it. Do it so that you are still living your life and you're not just expecting God to live it for you. Because the only way that you will be successful in any area of your life is if you go for it. I know you want to give up. I know you want to give up on yourself. I know you feel like no matter what decision you make, it's going to be wrong. But listen, I definitely, after the year that I've had, I would definitely rather live my life to the best of my ability and do everything that I can than to not do anything and have nothing happen, good or bad. At least if something bad happens, I can learn from it and move forward. If something good happens, then it's even better. What a blessing it is for God to allow us to be able to be at free will and make our own choices so that He knows that He can trust us. I know, I know it's weird for me to say this, but it's time for me to start living my life. And it's time for you to start living your life because God wants you to be happy.